Hello, my name is Cecilia Gross. In this video, I will discuss strategies for leveraging English learners' cultural and linguistic assets and for building strong home-based connections to support their academic success. Asset-based, culturally responsive teaching encourages us to recognize multilingual students and their families as knowledgeable and capable partners, rather than as challenges to be addressed. In discussions of culture and learning, I refer to the values, communication styles, family roles, and epistemologies that shape how students perceive and engage in educational settings. These cultural factors influence behaviors such as eye contact, participation norms, expressions of respect, collaboration, and help seeking. I view cultural competence as an ongoing process that involves understanding my own cultural perspectives, learning about students' communities, and applying this knowledge to design instruction that is respectful, relevant, and rigorous for English learners. Culture plays a critical role in shaping how students comprehend new content and language. When instruction is connected to students' familiar experiences, English learners are better able to relate new English vocabulary and concepts to their prior knowledge. The classroom and school environment further influence language acquisition. English learners benefit from environments where their home languages are valued, errors are viewed as part of the learning process, and students are provided with frequent, low-risk opportunities to use language with both peers and adults. To cultivate such an inclusive environment, educators can display multilingual labels and visuals, implement flexible seating, and collaborate structures, establish clear routines, and explicitly teach model inclusive forms such as one voice at a time, and every language is welcome. Effective strategies for supporting and celebrating cultural diversity include the use of multicultural, multilingual text that reflects students' identities, encouraging students to share family stories or traditions as part of academic activities, and integrating culturally relevant examples in mathematics, science, and social studies. To leverage students' home language assets, we can implement translanguaging and promote bilingual partner discussions, utilize bilingual word walls, and invite students to draft ideas in their home language prior to sharing in English. These approaches affirm that bilingualism and biliteracy are valued strengths linked to higher education achievement and the development of strong identities. English learners represent a heterogeneous population with diverse proficiency levels, educational backgrounds, abilities, identities, including students with disabilities and those who have experienced interrupted formal education. Asset-based responsiveness begins by identifying and leveraging each student's strengths through formative assessments, language proficiency data, and systematic observation. Instruction is then scaffolded using visuals, sentence frames, modeling, and strategic grouping to maintain academic rigor rather than simplifying tasks. Collaborative teaching with specialists, incorporation of multimodal inputs such as images, gestures, and manipulatives, and the design of choice-based tasks effectively address the varied strengths and needs of English learners, including those receiving special education services. Supporting the social and emotional needs of English learners is equally important as providing academic support. Research on asset-based approaches demonstrates that when students see their cultures and language valued, they develop a stronger sense of belonging, which enhances motivation and persistence. In practice, this includes explicitly teaching classroom languages for collaboration, modeling empathy, building peer buddy or cross-age mentor systems, and regularly checking in with students about their classroom experiences. It also involves being attentive to signs of stress or trauma among newcomers and collaborating with counselors and family members to provide additional support. Addressing students' social, emotional, and cultural needs is fundamental to establishing effective classroom routines and procedures. When routines incorporate students' cultural norms, such as call and response, cooperative work, and recognition of family roles, student engagement and respect are enhanced. Predictable and collaboratively developed routines, including structured morning meetings, explicit steps for group work, and visual schedules, enable English learners to anticipate classroom activities and reduce anxiety, therefore supporting language acquisition. Consequently, classroom management becomes culturally responsive rather than exclusively rule-based. The concept of funds of knowledge highlights that families and communities possess extensive knowledge, skills, and cultural practices that significantly support language learning. These resources include work experiences, religious and community leadership, storytelling traditions, childcare practices, and multilingual communication within extended families. When educators learn about and incorporate these funds of knowledge, such as through home visits, surveys, or family stories, students recognize the value of their home-based knowledge in school contexts, which can accelerate both language and content learning. To establish strong partnerships among families, communities, and schools, multiple translated communication methods should be employed. Events should be scheduled at varied times, and childcare and transportation should be provided when possible. Additionally, families should be invited to participate as co-educators rather than as guests. Effective family engagement practices that emphasize the value of home languages, including hosting bilingual family literacy nights, encouraging caregivers to read or tell stories in their strongest language, designing projects in which students interview family members, and distributing tips that promote talking, reading, and playing in any language. Language-focused family engagement frameworks recommend two-way communication, recognition of family goals for their children, and the provision of clear information about language programs to enable families to make informed decisions, and advocate for their children. Inclusive community engagement may include partnerships with local cultural organizations, libraries, and faith communities, as well as inviting community members to share their experiences in classroom in ways that reflect extend identities. Technology can support this process by enabling families to contribute photos, short videos, or home artifacts, which are subsequently integrated into classroom projects. This strategy reinforces the concept that the classroom serves as an extension of community life. The primary objective of these efforts is to foster mutual trust, enabling schools, families, and communities to collaborate in supporting multilingual learners' academic, linguistic, and social emotional development. In closing, an asset-based approach to working with English learners encourages us to recognize culture and language as valuable resources rather than obstacles. By incorporating students' cultural values and home languages into instruction, maintaining high expectations through differentiated strategies, and collaborating with families and communities, we foster classroom environments in which multilingual learners can excel. Thank you for your time.